What if you knew you were one of the last of your kind? How would you feel? How would you live day to day? Meet Sudan. He is the last male of his kind. He is one of three northern white rhinos left in the entire
Your
world.
touch is good. Your touch is good. He's relaxing.
Sudan lives in Ol Pejeta Conservancy, north of Nairobi in Nanyuki, Kenya. The conservancy consists of 90,000 acres, but Sudan, Najin, and Fatu, which are the last two female northern white rhinos, get 36 acres all to themselves. Well, except for the occasional gazelle or two that can jump the fence. So, how did I end up here? I was studying abroad in Kenya and was lucky enough to spend 6 weeks at Ol Pejeta. Since I lived with the host family outside the conservancy, my ride into work each day was, well, it was basically a safari. In addition to housing the world's last northern whites, Ol Pejeta is also the largest black rhino sanctuary in East Africa. This makes the conservancy a huge target to poachers. To combat illegal activity, rangers track every single rhino's location by walking through the bush. The conservancy also has an anti-poaching dog unit on watch, and the northern white rhinos receive 24-hour armed protection. When I first met Sudan, Najin, and Fatu, I immediately fell in love with these gentle giants and their loyal caretakers. Najin and Fatu, nicknamed the Royal Girls, are mother and daughter. Unfortunately, both are incapable of breeding naturally because of health ailments. And Sudan. He's about 45 years old, which translates to 100 human years.
It's so loud.
Yeah, he's a noisy eater, yeah?
When I met him, he reminded me of a lovable yet frail grandpa, just shuffling about his home and noisily chowing down on his food. Up until recently, Sudan had been doing quite well. But in late February, Ol Pejeta announced that Sudan's health is beginning to decline. Soon, news agencies around the world began broadcasting the sad news. Thankfully, though, over the past few years, experts from around the world have been developing in vitro fertilization and ovum pickup technology that is targeted to begin sometime in 2018. This new technology is complicated, risky, and crazy expensive, but it's the last hope of saving the northern white rhinos from extinction. Basically, scientists will harvest eggs from one of the royal girls. Then, in the lab, they will fuse the egg collected with previously stored sperm from past male northern white rhinos before they died, and create an embryo that will then be inserted into a surrogate mother at Ol Pejeta, a southern white female rhino who is capable of delivering a rhino calf. If all goes well, the world could have its newest northern white rhino 16 to 18 months later. All sorts of thoughts swirled in my head as I looked at this content, yet lonely and confined rhino in the eye. This was probably the last time I'd see my buddy Sudan. How could people be so selfish to kill an entire population just for their horns? Will Sudan last long enough to meet his grandchild? Will any of these rhinos be around to meet my children? What about your children? The story of these powerful yet fragile creatures cannot be forgotten. This is what extinction could look like. The human race cannot afford to drive another species into extinction. We owe it to future generations, human and wildlife alike.